Day 6 of Broncos training camp was a pleasant surprise. Audric Estime finally breaking out, finally waking up just after on mile or not on Mile High. What am I talking about? Horsepower Hour yesterday. We were talking about, were we stupid for thinking this guy was going to be part of the rotation? Audric Estime giving us some hope. This is what we needed. Lavelle Bailey continuing to impress along with Troy Franklin. Bo Nix amazing as always. But guys, going to get into my breakdown and takeaways from what we saw reported today, day 6 of training camp. And most importantly, guys, I want to see what thoughts you guys have. So be sure, smash that like, subscribe. We're on our way to 3,000 by the start of the season. And join the live chat. I'll have it open, but let's go ahead and get started, guys. We're going to check out some tweets here from Luca Evans. We'll go through some highlights here with what he's got, and then get to some of the breakdown and takeaways from, your favorite Broncos beat report. I haven't shown a lot of Devon Vele, and Luca Evans showed a little bit of Vele here. And man, he just looks so big. Nice little hitch and go. Beautiful throw. I think that was from Bo. Yep. Against air, so it better look perfect. By the way, guys, I love how the bleachers are looking. More drills. You'll get involved right there. Then next up, we got, is that JK? No, that was RJ Harvey. And then Audric Estime getting involved. But this is what I love to see, guys, especially if you watched Horsepower Hour yesterday. Bunch of reps today at Broncos camp for inside linebacker Lavelle Bailey with Alex Singleton and Drew Sanders hurt. This is an incredible opportunity for Lavelle Bailey to showcase why he should be a starting linebacker for the Denver Broncos. Yes, you got more money tied up than Alex Singleton in Alex Singleton than Lavelle Bailey. Same with Drew Sanders, but also draft pedigree with Drew Sanders. Now both of those guys are out of the equation. Well, in Alex Singleton's case, for the next week. For Drew Sanders, the next month to month and a half. Lavelle Bailey can showcase why he is the better linebacker, even when those guys come back. / if, right? They make the team. We'll have to see. But love to see the fact that he's getting a ton of reps right now. The Broncos did bring in a ton of tryout linebackers. We'll get to that later. Also, check this out. Audric Estime had a really nice bounce to the outside during the team period. Great vision and explosion. One of his better reps through off-season camp. We'll get to RJ Harvey. We'll talk about why he's the next Kamara as well. Get to those tweets, but did just want to hit on this. Pretty apparent from Broncos camp so far that Trent Sherfield could play legit snaps at wide receiver. We know that. He's a good wide receiver. It's like a depth guy. Burned Jaquan McMillan on a hitch and go during one-on-ones. Here we go. Takeaways. Chris Abrams-Drain had a nice pass breakup. Almost no big plays for the offense. Coverage was fantastic today across multiple reports. Lavelle Bailey could be the next guy up at Mike. And standout day for Audric Estime. Love to see that. Q Robinson looked like he had a bit of a limp at the end of practice, so that will be something to monitor. Sean Payton on Courtland's extension. He's everything you want in a pro. He epitomizes what we're looking for, and then you match that with his play. Yes, 100%. Courtland Sutton has the opportunity to make the Ring of Fame throughout this next contract. Now, to the good stuff here. RJ Harvey. Sean Payton on RJ Harvey. He had a run today that was something, and we kind of turned and looked at each other. Guys, there's a spiritual connection. I believe that. Not only between Bo Nix and Sean Payton, but I truly believe there is one growing between RJ Harvey and Sean Payton. Man. I really do feel like he is going to be the most utilized back throughout the season. And I think that he is a sneaky bet for Offensive Rookie of the Year, especially in a class that only had one rookie quarterback drafted in the first round. Should have been, Or I guess we had 2 because Jackson Dart. Forgot about Jackson Dart. Maybe it should have been 3, But we know Jackson Dart's not going to win Rookie of the Year. Come on now. Let's see. I think that's just about it from Luka Evans. We can move on to what Ryan Edwards had to say. Second day, full pads. That's right. We were in pads on Monday as well. Check this out. McGlinchey back practicing with the team. Same with Sutton. More physical practice than yesterday with heavier emphasis on the run game. I love this sort of methodology, kind of ramping up the physicality, not going from 0 to 100. Both RJ Harvey and Audric Estime had some nice runs that they bounced outside. Great to see. First team defensive coverage was incredibly sticky. Tough for Bo to find many throwing lanes. Saw him scramble multiple times for decent gains. This is no surprise to me, guys. I think we could arguably, well, not arguably, I think we could have the number 1 defense in the league this year. I totally believe that. So it does not surprise me to hear that the Broncos offense is having some tough days against the defense. Biggest catch was from, guys, Troy Franklin. Boxing out cornerback Robinson. Is that Robinson from Nebraska for a 30-yard plus yard gainer? Ellinger at quarterback. Love to see that. So I don't think Troy has had like a lot of reps with the ones yet, but the fact is that he's balling no matter what quarterback or what team he's with. That's great. The guy that I kind of envision Troy Franklin to be is like our Kenny Stills. Now, Kenny Stills, I don't think throughout his career ever had 1,000 yards, but he was consistently getting 700, 800, and I think he even had a couple 900-yard seasons in his career, if I remember offhand. Kenny Stills is kind of who I could see Troy Franklin becoming, and I love that. Nice catches from Sutton and Sherfield during second-team offense. Jonah Ellis blew up a play fake by Stidham that could have been for a huge sack. That would have been for a huge sack. And then Jonathan Cooper pancaked RJ Harvey on one pass pro set. This is why we brought in freaking JK Dobbins. Okay? So that while he's getting up to speed with this, we're not going to have to deal with those bumps and bruises always, early on in the season, because we got somebody else that can do that. But guys, big takeaway here is a lot of our young guys, they're continuing to develop and impress. Okay? Jonah Ellis. Love to see that. Troy Franklin. All right? Of course, Bo Nix is looking great. But Audric Estime finally having a good day. Can he start to string together really good practices day after day? RJ Harvey already developing that spiritual connection, that trust with Sean Payton, that, man, you can make amazing plays. All right? Like Payton said, he had a run today that was something. We all kind of looked at each other. They know he's the guy. Fancy Fling knows that too. Gotta like it. Payton on Lavelle Bailey. He's had a few good days, real good days. He looks like an NFL linebacker too. Sean Payton's already putting it out there that this guy's making the 53, that he's looking like a 53-man roster linebacker as a UDFA out of Fresno State last year. Credit to Sire Bettinger for putting this out. Said the Broncos spent an hour recruiting him after the 2024 draft. I'm glad we stayed patient in that process with him and were able to get him. Yes, I am too. Zach Stevens saying Audric Estime had a really nice catch during a team period. The man has 10-inch hands. He should be able to catch the ball. He seemed to pop off today the most of camp. The most. Glad to see that. Good to see. Now you got to put it together day after day, Audric. This is what I'm talking about. I'm sorry I was backsliding in my belief, man. Prove to me I was wrong. Let's go. And that's just about it. Now, I do want to get into this. Talking about RJ Harvey being the next Audric Estime. And then I'll get to some of your comments. And we'll also take a look at Kenny Stills. His stats too. Why not? That'll be fun. It's a live stream, so we'll kind of change it up on the fly. Look at this usage. 120 carries and 100 targets rookie year. Okay. That's going to be phenomenal. So we're talking about hopefully, 200 plus touches this year, well over 1,000 yards. I mean, 728 rushing yards, 826 receiving yards, 81 receptions, 120 carries. So it's 201 total touches. You got a little over 1,550 yards, 54 yards, some change, 13 touchdowns. Yeah. When you're putting up 1,500 yards of all-purpose yardage your rookie year, that should put you in contention to be a rookie of the year candidate. No doubt about it. And, Sean Payton has had these other guys like Mark Ingram, Darren Sproles, also, part of this whole thing. I would love to see JK Dobbins, of course, as a main rotational guy in there. Then my hope is that Audric is one of those guys as well. That remains to be seen. But I think RJ Harvey, you draft a running back, 60th overall, you're going to use him. You're going to use him. You got him on a rookie contract for the next 4 years. It's time, run him into the ground, so to speak. Like, get as much out of RJ Harvey as you can. That's how I see it. And if he's still good enough to deserve an extension when it's all done, then you extend him, just like you did Alvin Kamara. So that is my hope of what we see for an RJ Harvey this year. I think the ceiling is what you've seen with Alvin Kamara, 1,500 all-purpose yards, 13 touchdowns. Be amazing. But I definitely feel like he is going to be well over 1,000 all-purpose yards. Now let's take a look at Kenny Stills. 5th round pick in 2013 for the New Orleans Saints. Now, Troy Franklin didn't have nearly as strong of a season his rookie year like Kenny Stills did. I mean, 5th round pick going for 641 yards. That's insanity. That's fantastic. But you've seen, throughout his career, what do you see? He's averaging well over, 14, 16, 17 yards of reception. On his career, averaged 15.5 yards of reception. Big time, long touchdowns, 50, 40, 60 plus yards. That's what I'm talking about. Seeing, 100 targets in 2017 for Miami. That's kind of high, but, I think it could develop and become like a really, really good third option in a receiving core that's there to just stretch the field, take those big shots. You can play the screen game with them. But yeah, kind of around this, 600 to 700 yards, I would be really, really happy with Troy Franklin. I do think the ceiling is through the roof, right? I mean, Kodiak Broncos fully believing that he's going to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver this year. Sign me up. Marvin Mims, I think, could totally become a wide receiver 1 on this team if his route tree continues to develop. It was great seeing him do some of those deep dig and out routes that we saw earlier this weekend. Stuff that he hasn't run a lot, at least in season. Will that change this year? That's my hope, because I think he has Tyreek Hill type upside. At least Eddie Royal, right? Go for about 1,000 yards this year. That would be awesome. So to summarize this, the player development under Sean Payton is continuing to be what we thought it was, man. To be honest, doesn't matter what spot you were drafted in, whether you're a top 100 pick or whatever, like Jonah Ellis, a day 3 guy like Troy Franklin, or an undrafted guy like Lavelle Bailey. We've seen these guys in their second year start to take significant jumps, and sky's the limit, I feel like, for some of these players. No doubt about it. So I'll get to a few of your comments here. Great to see you guys in here. Andy, Denver Trav. What's going on? Chiba and Debo Long. We'll start here at the top. Yeah, y'all get your question in here. I'll chop it up with you guys for a little while. Andy, Chris Abrams-Drain has been playing well at camp so far. I'm interested to see what role he plays this season. Yes, that's going to be a battle to watch kind of between him and, why am I blanking? Jaquan McMillan. And I mean, we should not be trading any of our cornerbacks outside of maybe Damari Mathis. Like, similar to edge, you shouldn't just let edge rushers go. You shouldn't let cornerbacks go. These are two of the most important positions. It's why we draft them every year, like Kodiak pointed out yesterday in Empower Hour. Why do I call it Empower Hour? Horsepower Hour. But he's definitely going to get time between Surtain, Moss, Barron. I think Chris Abrams-Drake could be that next guy. And I do think he's got the ability to play inside too. Have to see. Denver Trav, Troy Franklin breakout agenda. All right, Denver Trav, tell me how many yards is he going for? I think, if Troy Franklin, if he can surpass like 700 yards this year, I would consider that like a breakout. Definitely. Because what do you have, like 300 yards this past year? We'll have to see. Chiba, what's going on, dude? I'll get to your comment here in just a minute. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all be sure to smash that like, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 3K before the season starts. Debo, what's up, brother? Love your coverage. You come with all the facts. Hey, I appreciate it. I try to. There's a lot of great Broncos shows and content out there. So thank you for making me part of your rotation. Really does mean a lot. And I'm just pumped about this season, man. I think we should win the division. That's my expectation. Like 13-4. That might sound crazy. And honestly, I'm scared putting it out there like that. But I thought this team would win 10 games last year. We won 10 games. So now I'm thinking we're going 13-4, baby. We're better than the Chiefs. We're a better team than the Chargers. But the fact is that Jim Harbaugh has out-coached Sean Payton in both of those games last year. Can we change that? And we're better than the Raiders, although the Raiders, I think, are greatly improved as well. Hey, Eli, question for David. Who cut your hair? I'm looking for a new barber. Well, Eli, I'm down in San Antonio now. So, yeah, you probably shouldn't come down here for a haircut. But shout out to Kevin, Coup Cuts in San Antonio, for getting me right off of San Pedro. But if you're looking for a barber in the Denver Boulder area, in Broomfield, Tony Blends, Tony_Blends with a Z. He cut me for the past 6 years. He was phenomenal. So be sure to check him out. Tony Blends. I even gave him one of my big Broncos Super Bowl 50 plaque collage things with a piece of the, football in there. That's in his barber shop. I gave it to him before I left. It's kind of like a thank you. Did you see the KOA Dobbins today? Interview Dobbins today. Got the impression he thinks he's the one. Well, I love that. About time we bring some guys in here with some serious belief and confidence in the running back room. And with what he's getting paid, $3.5 million, probably worth up to $5 million, right? I mean, that's decent running back money, especially with his injury history. So, he's making some, decent money, and we're bringing him in to, I think, be that third down back, definitely within pass protection, help with short yardage. Audric was a little inconsistent last year, but he did show signs of getting a lot better, right? Or you'd at least hope. Saw flashes. And then RJ Harvey, but I think he's going to be the guy. But remember the usage between rushes and passing and receiving for RJ Harvey. That was 120 rushes to 81 receptions. So you're going to see maybe about a 60-40 split. Maybe it's, 55-45%. So you're still going to have plenty of carries available. JK is going to be an integral part of this rotation. in this offense. Debo saying, I was never a big Singleton fan. Will Lavelle Bailey crack the lineup? I think he will, man. I think he will. They say Singleton should be back next week. He's having surgery today. Now, I'm one of those guys that I believe, well, I have believed, that Alex Singleton was hated on a little too much. Like, I thought he played well, but the man did get cooked in pass coverage, mainly in 2023. He was not good in pass coverage. Lavelle Bailey has shown that he can be very good, and he's more athletic. So I think when you're talking about upside, I think what a lot of people have talked about Drew Sanders about, just because he's, like a freak athlete or whatever, the upside of having him in there and develop so much higher than like Alex Singleton, right? But I think that more so applies to Bailey, honestly, because Bailey can stay available, number one, and you saw him take that pick six to the house last year. Way better athlete than his RAS score indicates. And shout out to George Payton, man, Sean Payton, for bringing him in last year. And I think I think at the very least, he's going to be that first linebacker off the bench. Maybe you see Dre Greenlaw and Alex Singleton start, but the longer Lavelle Bailey has reps with the ones, and if he has some really good preseason performances, weeks 1 and week 2, why not? Why not? Again, you can save money moving off of Alex Singleton. How much does his leadership matter to this defense, to this team? We'll have to see. Do you want to go with a linebacker room of Dre Greenlaw, and then it's just a bunch of really young guys like Drew Sanders, Lavelle Bailey, JB Brown, Kareem Reed? Like, that's a little too green for me. I'm forgetting about Justin Strnad. So, yeah, maybe you keep Justin Strnad around and cut Singleton. We'll have to see. David, will you be watching the Hall of Fame game Thursday? Absolutely not. I really only watch preseason if the Broncos are involved, to be quite honest. So I'll probably be doing something else. 13-4, definitely not possible. Not impossible. Sorry, Chiba. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of going out on a limb, but I hope you guys don't watch my show for predictions and to see how right I am on some things. A broken clock is right twice a day. It's kind of how I feel about this channel. Or maybe I'll watch the first quarter. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll catch the highlights. I've heard of that name before, Tony Blends. Yeah, he's cut some Denver Broncos here and there. He cut Michael Porter once. He'll tell you all about it. Thoughts on Jokic and his horse winning that race? It was incredible. So happy for Jokic. Shows more emotion with his horse. I love it because the horse-human connection, it's a real thing. It's why people going through traumatic events, they bond with horses. I don't understand it, but it's a beautiful thing. I love Jokic and his horses. I really don't want to see Singleton play with a club on his hand. Even Vaughn struggled doing that. Yeah, especially when you're a linebacker, defensive lineman, really anybody playing on defense, you need to be able to grab. But you could get clubbed in the head. It's nice. Concuss the opposing player, right? But yeah, overall, guys, there's just a lot to be happy about right now in training camp. I think we've stayed generally healthy. Drew Sanders, hurt, but he's always hurt. Alex Singleton, hurt. He's kind of hurt a lot, right? We'll see. Everybody else seems to be staying healthy, looking good. Bo Nix, second year, commanding this offense. And I think Tom Brady was talking about this, he had the answers to the test. Somebody tweeted this out. He had the answers to the test because of his preparation every week. That is the kind of player I think we're getting with Bo Nix. Like, we all know that. I think he's a plus athlete, maybe not an elite athlete by NFL standards, but a plus athlete. But I believe, most importantly, I think he's got an elite brain, and that's overlooked so much. We haven't really heard anything about either side of the line. Maybe that's good. Yeah, I mean, we've heard a little bit about like the edge rushers just dominating the uh, uh, the tackles, like on the second and third team. But what's interesting is that Andrew Mason has said that he feels like they have great depth at tackle, but it's a big question mark at the guard position. Now, let's just go ahead and pull this up because this is going to be fun to go through the roster right now. So, guys, this has been like my roster prediction. And yes, Eli, I think we got all those starters on the roster right now. That's how I think about it. But let's go through this list. Hopefully, y'all can see this okay. But I'm going to make some adjustments here. We're going to make some copy here. We're going to make this option 2 of our roster. So, Sanders and Singleton, they are now out of here. We're going to put them on IR or cut them. I don't know. We're going to move Bailey up into the starting lineup. We're going to move Justin Sternad right here. And for this is just for Andy and Marky Sports. We're going to put Kareem Reed on the roster. I don't really have a hot take between him or JB Brown from Kansas, one of those guys. Okay. Typically, we have gone with 4 running backs in the past. I'm going to still keep Estime on here, but I look like a total dumbass for thinking that Jaleel McLaughlin is not going to be on this roster. I think he's going to be on the roster, even if he is kind of one-dimensional. Then you get to the tight ends and slash H-back. If you want to include Atkins as part of the tight end room, we can go ahead and do that. I do think at the wide receiver room, there would be no changes that I would make between Sutton, Vele, Mims, Franklin, Pat Bryant, and Trent Sherfield. I think that's how it's going to look. But let's say we go with 4 linebackers, 24 on defense. Maybe then that allows you to carry. Well, let me get through the offense first. Bowles, McGlinchey, Palczewski, who's looked good, Frank Crum. We got Quinn Miners, Ben Powers, Xavier Trust, Luke Wattenberg, and Clay Webb. Now, some people have brought up the idea of Gargiulo making the roster this year. Maybe Forsyth does. I would ideally like to have, 10 offensive linemen. It is a little bit of a luxury. Right now we are at 9. Maybe we can pare this down somewhere. But on defense, I would still like to have 25 guys on defense. So that means we can add somebody somewhere. Now, let's just say Owazurike beats out Jordan Jackson for this. So now Jackson is cut. JL Skinner, cut. Sorry, man. Somebody has brought up Andrew Mason, thinks that Andrew Farmer is like a real NFL quality edge, which that would put us at 6 edges, which I think is a little bit of an overkill. So maybe we're not doing that. But maybe this would open up to bring in somebody like Skinner at safety. Also helps with special teams. Or again, we could add Gargiulo back here. What do you guys want to do? We got 54 guys. Who's going to be this last guy? JL Skinner? JB Brown? Gargiulo? Nick Gargiulo? Alex Forsyth? We'll have to see. Andy, prior to my old belief, I do think Jaleel will make the 53. Yeah, we haven't really heard anything good from Blake Watson, and it's been a week. Thank God we actually got some good news on Audric today. Took 6 days, but hey, it's here. Contrary to my old belief. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'm not here going crazy with anybody's grammar or lack thereof. But that's what I think it comes down to. I mean, I would like to carry some offensive linemen. Um, not, yeah, I know. Maybe Blake Watson is this year's Lucas Kroll. I don't know, man. I was just hoping that it would be different. We gave him $250,000 in guaranteed money last year. He made the active roster. We just haven't seen him. Are the minor injuries starting to concern you, David? Not at all, man. Not at all. We'll see what happens, especially if it starts to happen to like truly one of our star players. But with Alex Singleton like breaking a thumb, man, I ain't stressing about it. Yeah, we got no dislocated toes over here, Eli. So not stressing over here. But hey, Tyrod Taylor's decent. Debo saying Pert. I know that was kind of like a hot take that I felt like I had, was taking Pert off here. Really, I think it's going to be either Crum or Pert. I don't think both of them are going to be on the roster. So you could easily replace Crum with Pert. I think I'm kind of going out on a limb here with Frank Crum because he looked absolutely horrible last preseason. He looked terrible. But my hope is that he's much better after being here a year. Yeah, we'll have to see. But I'm big on Clay Webb. I'm pretty big on Xavier Trust. I feel like both of these guys should have been drafted, but Andy, you can tell me why they didn't get drafted. Yeah, dislocated toe, man. Better bring the card out. Exactly, man. Exactly. So for this exercise, I guess I'm going to say, yeah, JL Skinner, dude, you can go. Sorry, man. We'll put you on the practice squad and elevate you as needed. But I would prefer, well, it would be nice to have 25 guys on defense. Screw it. I'm back at it. We get 26 guys on offense. That's what I'm talking about, baby. 26 guys on offense, 10 offensive linemen, and that's just going to be how it's going to be. Yeah, because I think you could hide away a guy like Jordan Jackson, DTY, in Skinner on the practice squad. We'll see what happens with Forsyth and Pert. But yeah, like if we do need to call some guys up to play more on defense, I think that we can do that a little bit easier than if we have some offensive linemen go down or yeah. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, exactly, man. Clay Webb's a dog. Just don't take a gift from him. Yeah, man, that's right. You kind of want somebody like that on the offensive line, right? It's got like some legitimate nasty. I'm all about it. I'm Clay Webb's biggest fan here. Maybe I'll get a Clay Webb jersey if he ends up a starter here. That'd be pretty cool. But I really wish McGlinchey would have given him 69, man. It is what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Been doing this for 30 minutes. This flew by. It was so much fun. I'll be back to talk about camp tomorrow. We'll see how all that goes. Hopefully I can find like some more highlight clips. I know the Broncos have been pretty stingy about not putting out a lot of highlights from the media and fans. Come on now. Come on. Don't we want to have some fun? Come on, Sean Payton. I'm not an internet reporter. I'm just a guy on the internet. And I want to have some stuff to glaze over. Come on, Sean Payton. Credential Kodiak Broncos podcast and go Broncos.